Okay, no lying to me here. When you first watched this trailer, you too thought X-Men with teenagers, right? Well, I mean, X-Men with kids. I mean, that was kind of X-Men Apocalypse. I mean, Eva Green stars as Charles Xavier. I mean, Miss Peregrine in Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. There we go. But don't lie, you saw it as an X-Men crossover with Harry Potter, right? That's exactly how it looked to me in the trailer. Anyway, Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. It's such a long title to say. I wish it was called something else because I don't want to keep saying that name throughout this review, so I'm just going to refer to it as X-Men for Kids. But instead of having mutant powers, they're called peculiars, and they're born with these weird sort of abilities, so it's kind of the same, but they have different abilities, and they can do things like floating and fire, and it gets really convoluted, and let's just talk about the movie. First up, the acting in this thing, oh my god, it gets really, really bad. The opening scene with Asa Butterfield as this character Jake, it's so boring. Like, he has no personality to him, and that's my first gripe with the movie. Asa Butterfield in this movie is such a boring character, and you just don't care about him. What I wanted to see was more of the children's abilities and more of what they can do, because like there's these two little creepy twins and they have this really cool power when they take off their mask and stuff like that, and you barely see them in the movie, and the only character you get a lot of is this girl that can turn into air and can float and everything, and it was cool at first, but I wanted to see more of the other abilities. So straight off the bat, the film's pretty boring. And the characters that they focus on the most are the characters that you don't really care about much. The only characters that really, or actors that felt like they were actually trying, were Eva Green and Samuel L. Jackson, but even they come off as a bit wooden and stiff, but it wasn't really their fault. I think it was more the script, and this is a Tim Burton movie, and it really doesn't feel like one. You know, he's done weird things before. He's done a lot of weird things before, and he adds his own weird spin to the film, but this one didn't really feel like he did that. It was just sort of like he put his name on it and that was that. It didn't feel like he added much of his own flair to it. Like, it's not typical Tim Burton. It's typical Tim Burton in the fact that it's weird and bizarre and kind of has those sort of trademark things that he does, but it really doesn't feel like classic Burton, and that's what I was expecting, because I was looking forward to it. I thought it looked pretty good, and as it stands, it's not that good. It has good things to it, like some of the action sequences are cool. There is a cool one which is mostly stop motion, and it's these like skeletons that have come to life, and these weird Slenderman things. They're called hollows, but they look like Slenderman with teeth, and they've got these long tongues, and they were creepy. They were cool designs though. So stuff like that is cool, but just a lot of the story just drags and drags. Like Jake goes to this home, the children's home, and he meets Miss Peregrine, and she's like all quirky and cool, and you really sort of feel like the movie will pick up from here. And then he just goes back to his hotel with his dad, who's played by Chris O'Dowd, who has the worst American accent of all time, I swear. And it slows down every time he does that, and he does it quite a few times in the movie, not gonna lie. So it was things like that that brought the movie down for me. If they had more of the abilities and the children doing what they do, if they had more of that stuff, I would have liked the movie a hell of a lot more than they actually did. I'm not saying it's the worst movie I've seen this year. It's got some really cool moments and some really standout scenes, but it's just nothing about it's that memorable. The most standout scene was the skeleton scene that I mentioned. There's this really cool scene where this kid, Enoch, who was one of the most interesting characters that didn't get any time to do anything, he can sort of bring things to life, and he brings these like creepy doll things that look like creations of Sid from Toy Story to life, and they're sort of battling, and the stop motion was really cool. So I like that they use practical effects and stop motion in the film, but again, some of the effects, this movie's just making me ramble on because it's that fucking boring. But some of the effects used in the film look really bad. Not gonna lie about that. But like I said, when they do things that are practical, I liked it more. Sam Jackson's character was really, really over the top, which is what I expected, and I didn't dislike that fact. But I felt like they could have really cast, what it feels like is because Tim Burton's always casting Helena Bonham Carter and Johnny Depp. I know he broke up with Helena Bonham Carter, and Johnny Depp's going through some things, and he's probably too busy filming Pirates of the Caribbean and all that court stuff, and it's hard. But I feel like Sam's character was written for Johnny Depp, and that Miss Peregrine was written with Helena Bonham Carter in mind. And I feel like if they had done the roles, maybe they would have added more to the film than we got, because they're such recognizable trademarks in the Tim Burton universe. Just a thought. I think that was the original idea, and I feel like if that had happened, Tim Burton might have added some more of his own flair to it. But yeah, I mean, it's just forgettable in the end. It's something that I felt like had potential, but because I heard the book is really, really good, and it makes me want to read the book to see how good it is compared to the movie. Because if the book's really good and it has a good story, then I could see how this movie could have improved. But as it stands, it's not a great movie. It's another one in a slew of forgettable movies this year, and I can't say I recommend you go see it, because if it's a movie that I wouldn't have personally paid for and got in for free to see and still was disappointed by, then I can't say go spend your money on it, because it's just not worth it. But if it's on TV, catch it, let me know what you think about it, and if you have seen it, let me know what you think and whether I'm wrong or what you thought could be improved in this movie, because as it stands, there's not much to say about it. It's just a film that happened and that I watched, and that's how I feel about a lot of movies this year. A lot of movies have really stood out to me, and then there's been a lot of disappointing ones like this one, so you know, there's not too much to say about it. So I'll see you guys in the next video.